Quick note, I am rather chatty in this video, so in the description box I made you a table of contents with clickable timestamps. I thought you might like the convenience of jumping right to a topic that interests you. So here we go. So I'm in the attic on a hunt for some things I made for Christmas time, and that's where we are now. And I found it, so here I am. Do you remember, if you're one of my older subscribers, actually this was just last spring I think, I made this Afghan, which was a repeat crafter me corner to corner Afghan. Very simple and fun to do. I'll put the link in the description box below. And then I also made this, which I ended up having some trouble with. I made some mistakes in it. But it's fine, you know, because it was just going to be for me if I can get it open. It's another repeat crafter me pattern, and it's this little gingerbread face with pom-poms on the corners, which I thought were so cute. It's time to display them. But before we do that, hey everybody, it's me, Margaret, and I am here saying happy late Thanksgiving. Had everybody home, which was really nice, even Thomas. And speaking of Thomas, I have to share with you a comment from one of my longtime subscribers who I consider a friend, and that is Cynthia. Who knew that Granny Thomas would be saving the world someday, laughing out loud? I'm sure you're very proud of him, but I'm proud of him too. That's still the cutest video. Now, what she's talking about, and why I even tell y'all about Thomas, is because he was in my videos when he was a little boy. And now he's 20 years old. That's how long I've been doing this. And here's the video she was talking about. And here he is in 2021, and we just found out that his first duty assignment will be at RAF Lake and Heath, just northeast of London. He's so excited, and I suppose we have several trips to the UK in our future. Here's a little trivia for you. In that same video back in 2013 is where I presented my Santa scarf design for the very first time. I'll link this and my other Christmas scarves below if you're interested. Santa scarf prototype that I'm working on with the AliExpress. Actually, I think I'm just going to link this playlist of Christmas themed tutorials and whatever that I've got on here. Some are tutorials and some are just Christmas time stuff. So, yeah, I think I have my famous, where is it? Yeah, the pound cake right here. I shared this recipe. It's our favorite family recipe. So, you just never know what you're going to find in this, but it is definitely Christmas themed. So there you go. Here's another Afghan that I did that was a corner to corner that I pulled out and stuck on the back of this couch. But now the question is, what do I do with these things? In order to truly appreciate them, they need to be spread out, right? So you can see the picture. Basically, my aesthetic is really not a country Afghan hanging all around your house kind of deal. I don't have that going on here, so I'm not sure what to do with these things that I made. So for the meantime, I guess I'll just drape them over here for right now. And these are old bath mats. Well, they're not really old, to be honest with you, but they tore up. I wash my bath mats a lot and they started to tear up, but they're nice and soft, and I thought this will be perfect to put here when company is not here. The cats and the dog like to sit on the couch, and that's perfectly okay. I put this here because if people come over, I can quickly pick it up, stick it in the laundry room, and then when they sit down, they don't have hair all over their clothes. So if you're a pet lover, you'll understand that. So anyhow, you know, when it's just us around, I guess that's fine. In the meantime, we're still decorating those elves. We're only supposed to have one set of elves sitting on the shelf, and some of these have to go in the tree. You know, I have all these that I love. And then I'll put some more up somewhere else around the kitchen. So busy, busy. And speaking of Christmas gifts, do you see that thing down there on the floor? This right here. This is a massager, and no, it is not a percussive massager. Let me show you what it does. You put it over your shoulders like this, and you press the power button, and it has that shiatsu. You see it going on, that shiatsu massage, and it does your neck and your shoulders, and then you can get really clever and hold it at different angles to get other parts of your back. This is an awesome, awesome product. This I've had for years. However, Bob and Brad, you remember I was talking about them with the percussion gun, that was a good mid-size one, which, by the way, I will link that below because I still highly recommend that gun, but it's a different purpose. It's a different type of massage. They sent me something like this, and I want to see if it's as good as their massage gun, so let's look at it. Okay, here it is. And it appears to be about the same size as the one that I have. Comes with an instruction book. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, I love this dove gray color. Isn't that elegant? What's wrong with me? I didn't point out the benefit of these adjustable straps, which mine doesn't have. This is a plus because, one, we're not all the same size, and two, you can use this thing in different ways and you can adjust it according to your needs. You do have your controls over here on the side, your power, and then this changes the direction. This is the heat, and this is the intensity, if I remember correctly. Well, the speed change, not intensity, but the speed change. All right, let's try this thing out. Oh wait, look what I just noticed. There's a car adapter. So if you're having some long trips that you have to make, this could be a really good thing for your passenger to use. That's awesome. Yeah, see, here's the car adapter, and here's a case for it. That's great. The one that I have did not come with a little carry case, so good to know. Okay, I attached the power cord right here and plugged it in. And it's a little heavier than the one that I have. That's interesting. Probably means that the motor is stronger. Okay, you still can't, yeah, all right, you still use your hands like this. Okay, let's see. All right, it does feel different than the one I have. I think that the little balls, the little shiatsu things that are turning around in here, I feel like they might be a little smaller, which could actually be really good. If you have knots in your back, which is why I own one of these, because I live with knots, and you literally have to press on them. Like, see, I can pull with this hand, and it presses on that spot right there and works that knot right out. Okay, this is this is awesome. Let's look at what's happening on my back so you can see. Oops. Can you see this? And as I'm applying pressure, it's running gently over those muscles. It's not like percussive therapy, you know, it's not like the guns do. It's just rolling over there, and then I have complete control over how much pressure that I give it by pulling down on these things. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, you can get creative if you have, like, under that scapula, I get a lot of tension in that too. And so you can move it to be exactly where you need it to be. Isn't that awesome? And then it has a heat feature in there. So that's another thing. Now it does take a minute for the heat to for you to start feeling the heat. For example, I just turned it on, and it's going to take a little while before I start to feel that heat, but that makes sense, right? Everything needs a little time to heat up. So what I've been known to do is turn it on and then go get a cup of tea and come back and then it's warm. I'm already feeling the heat now, so you can see that wasn't very long at all. Of course, you can use this on your lower back, and I'll literally let go of this and just lean back against my chair, and that will take care of the lower back as well. So this is awesome. So Bob and Brad, you've hit it out of the park with this one. So I will put a link in the description box below if you are interested in something like this for a gift for Christmas. But 2 thumbs up for this. And I'm an experienced massage gadget person, so I can tell you that for sure. And this is pretty too. Now, I was in the process of knitting this little hat. It's just a faux cable. It's actually the beginning of a paid-for pattern that I have, and I usually just make the whole hat out of this faux cable. But I made a lot of mistakes in this, so I'm going to rip it out and start again. And the reason why I made mistakes is because I'm reteaching myself to purl. I'm using a new technique, which involves new muscle memory. So while this is really cute, I was kind of, trying to watch TV. Ooh, by the way, Squid Game. If you are not looking for a G-rated movie, but you want to see some of the best written stuff on TV, Netflix, Squid Game, pretty impressive. Okay, so anyhow, trying to watch that and reteach myself how to purl, I ended up making several mistakes in this piece. And yes, I realize it's hard to see right here, but it bugs me that they're there, so I'm going to rip this out and begin again. And in the meantime, I picked up something else using the same yarn. This is going to be a hat, one of those simple hats with just ribs running down like that. I'm sure you've seen this pattern before, only I'm doing it with a very fine yarn. It's wool-like. Sorry for the interruption. That was wool-like. It's by Lips and Threads. You can buy this at Michael's. I've talked about it before. My friend Erin, who is Everyday Erin on YouTube, she's my knitting guru, she found this first and introduced me to it, and I love it. Great value and a wonderful yarn. Anyhow, I thought to myself, I'm just going to make a basic hat so that I could watch Squid Game without having to concentrate too much. And I just decided to put a twist on it and use a very light yarn. I'm using, what is this? I don't even know. A 3.25 hook, also known as a D3. Chemo patients often want a lighter hat to wear indoors. If they don't want to wear their wig and they just want to put a hat on, they prefer something lighter than something that you would wear outside for the winter. This is extremely soft and an ideal choice for chemo patients. So anyhow, that's something to consider. Then a couple days ago, the new Knitcrate came in, and right here on the top is the little extra, which is a tea. It's called Tea with Tay, Winter Bliss. It's a black tea, and it appears it does have a lot of caffeine in it, but I might fix myself some of that in just a minute. Now, I have to kind of cover this up because if you're a subscriber, you can scan the QR code and have that address to get your patterns. But this is the knit pattern included and a crochet pattern, and you also get the sock patterns whether or not you subscribe to the sock crate. And then you can see the choices that were available. And again, I never request, I just tell them to send it to me. And this time it appears I got this purpley color, so let's investigate. Oh wait, before we investigate, tea time was the theme. That's always the inspiration for colors and stuff, and these are colors that you might find in some old, beautiful, vintage teacups. Love it. And you know, that's another way to pick colors for a project as well, is look around at things that you love and see what colors they put together. I love that concept. So here it is. This is the one that I got. Ooh. It's that You Are You yarn. It is for Knitcrate, specifically for Knitcrate, and it's called Cozy. That's one of my cats' name is Cozy. And this is called Butterfly Pea Flower, which is more alpaca and some stellina, which, you know, in case you have a little shiny bit to it. It has stellina in it. I don't know if it's picking up on here, but I can see it with my eye. Now, speaking of Knitcrate, I do want to talk about them for just a minute. I always sing their praises, and I have something even more wonderful about them to tell you. Now, I am well aware that Knitcrate is very expensive. I get that, but there's a reason why I really love this company, and that is their customer service. Besides providing quality products, Their customer service is second to none. Now, recently, what they just did was sent out this email. It was probably about a month ago. And they were letting us know, well, you know what it sounded like to me? It sounded like something that you would send out to shareholders, not just to your general subscribers or your general customers. It was a pretty impressive email, and I want to read you some of that, or at least share with you the content on this, because it kind of blew me away. But they started out talking about the year in general and how it did impact their customer service. And, you know, shipping and all that is impacting everybody. COVID in general impacted everybody. And one of the things was, if everybody wasn't running a full factory, then the products couldn't get produced, much less shipping and all that getting to them to be shipped to the customers, et cetera, et cetera. So that impacted subscribers. And so they were explaining that and thanking us for patience and whatever. And I think they handled it beautifully, quite frankly. Okay, then they went on to thank their team. You know, they didn't have to say that to us. They could have thanked their team separately, which would have been absolutely ideal in itself. But they let us know how proud they were of their team. And they even gave a special shout out to Amy. And if you are a subscriber and you know Amy, she is absolutely awesome. She's the one that does Facebook Live chats, and I did one with her back when my pattern was actually featured in one of the knit crates, and it was pretty neat because I got to see her and interact with her in person and not just online. Her emails are always kind, and she phrases things beautifully, and she gets right to the point and that sort of thing. But it's one thing for me to say I love her. It's another thing to hear that they were really respectful and acknowledged everything that she gave to the company. So that warmed my heart. Now, they go on to tell you some of the things that are going to be changing in the coming months. And they said they addressed the root cause of most of the emails that they had received, the complaints that they had received. And again, like I told you, I think that they handled the situation beautifully. But you know, there's always going to be people that complain. And shipping and fulfillment was their #1 complaint. They say they've outsourced their warehouse and fulfillment to a third party called Shipmonk. Like chipmunk, get it? It's been a really good transition and things are working out. And something that made me a little sad was the compostable mailers. You know that I love to recycle where I can. I just think it's important that we all kind of reduce our carbon footprint as much as we can. And I like that compostable mailer, but it's unfortunately they're not going to be able to continue to do that because of quality issues. They said it ripped for some people, which was not good because you want your yarn protected, right? And so they don't want to risk that in any form or fashion. So they're going back to the boxes like I just showed you a minute ago. And I love this. And the complaint about the yarn was less alpaca, please. And more variety in colorways and dye techniques. Check and check. They're excited for you to see what's coming in 2022. And then another thing I thought was rather petty that I want to share with you. One of the pluses to Knitcrate is that you don't have to receive a shipment every month. You can skip this month, similar to the way you would do any subscribe and save on Amazon, or if you had a food subscription place that you subscribe to and you want to skip for that month. Well, then you can also skip a shipment of Knitcrate. And of course, you're not charged. And that makes a lot of sense because they let you know ahead of time what they're sending, and if it's something you have a lot of or something you don't care for or whatever, then you don't have to pay for that, right? So that's a wonderful thing. Well, like I said, I felt this complaint was rather petty in that people were saying it's not fair that people keep skipping month after month, but they remain a member so that they can get the discounts on buying the yarn. I don't know. I mean, I guess people talk, and I guess someone got agitated when they heard someone make the observation that they are a Knitcrate subscriber, but they cancel every month just so they can keep the Knitcrate discounts. That's just something that I did not even know existed. I had no earthly idea that that bothered people. Well, actually, Knitcrate's response was, let's see if I can find it. Our team did some research about this, and options within our system limited what could be done other than removing the skip feature. which we didn't feel was right. Rather than do away with the skip feature and penalize members who have been loyal members over the years, we're going to be changing the discount somewhat along with the way perks and discounts are distributed. So you're still going to get discounts, but it is going to be lessened from 50 to 30, which, you know, that's more along the lines of a regular sale, right? And then there's this thing called Double Down, which is a super sale. When they offer Double Down, they are taking specific yarns and drastically reducing them, and you can then order from the website. So this was what I thought was a really clever thing. I cannot speak. Clever solution. Double Down discounts will only be included in the digital and print versions of the magazines that come with the crates. So a minute ago when I was covering up the QR code and the address, the website address, if you did receive the monthly crate, then you have access to that month's Double Down when it comes available. So I thought that was a pretty clever solution. So that's keeping everybody happy. Anyway, to make a long story short, that was an awesome email. It was an awesome email on several levels. They gave us more information than we actually needed. And like I said, I felt like a shareholder reading that, and yet it was sent to everyone. So that was pretty awesome. 100% recommend this company. And if you like what you see, and maybe you don't want to have the subscription or whatever, you could still maybe get or give gift cards from Knitcrate that are available on their website, and I would highly recommend it because some of the choices are absolutely breathtaking, and I would want everybody to experience it if I could. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you want to buy a subscription for someone or yourself, never ever pay full price for your first box. Use a code for 20% off, and mine is cheap20 if you want to use that one. Enough of that. So here we have my second attempt at the Rib-a-Roni hat. And I mean, it came out fine. I used a much better yarn than I used last time, which was the Hirschner's Worsted 8. I hate that yarn. And last time I didn't know how to do the purl two together through the back loop, so I took the time to learn how to do it. And I don't think it made any difference, quite frankly. And as a matter of fact, right here, do you see that right there? It's kind of sticks out. I don't know what that is, but I think that has to do with my purl two together through the back loop. But overall, it did come out better than the Hirschner's Worsted 8 version, and I attribute it to quality yarn. This was my October Knitcrate yarn, and it was called Tweedy Stripe in the colorway Pumpkin Spiced Everything. It's 90% wool, 10% Donegal Neps, and I had to look that up. That's the nubbies that you get in the yarn. And it was an Aran weight. And it does, of course, because it's a natural yarn, it says hand wash gently and dry flat, like all that Knitcrate yarn does. Whenever I need to hand wash and block a hat with natural fibers, I like to do it individually, so I'll just use a small container rather than fill up the entire sink with water. You know, since some waste and all that. And also, you can see how much dye has kind of bled off of this, and I just don't want to risk anything else getting accidentally dulled in any way by the dye in the water. I use this Allure, which is basically a little wash that you don't have to wash out. However, seeing how much dye it is in this, I'll probably want to give it a once over just in case. I don't know why I can't let that go, but I like the water to run clear. So anyway, kind of play with it a little bit in there so that those fibers will loosen up and wiggle around. And I'll come back and check on it in a little while. That, and I have dried it and blocked it, and that may have made a difference in its quality. However, let me show you my mistake I made 2 times. But you see these little pearls right there? That's a mistake. I should not have put those there, and I just got confused in the pattern. So you know what, I gotta make this pattern a 3rd time because I really like it and I want to continue to improve it. So Rib-a-Roni, I'll put the link in the description box below. It is a free pattern, by the way. Well, I finally remembered what I was supposed to be doing with this, and I was starting, well, I had already begun my decreases and I had a plan and it was going to work. However, I messed up And because these stitches are so complex, that's 2 together, by the way, and I just don't have it in me to undo that and try to save it and then get frustrated because I know that I can't. I don't understand how I can't, nope, can't do it. And it's not a pattern. It's me taking this stitch and turning it into a hat. And oh, darn it. So this will have to be frogged. And speaking of gifts here in the Christmas season, we as knitters and crocheters often think, oh, we want to knit or crochet something for somebody, and unfortunately it's not always a good gift if the recipient is not somebody who wants that sort of thing, who appreciates that sort of thing. And that's the case in my family. For example, my aunt quilts, and quite frankly, a quilt, in our opinion, feels nicer than a knitted or crocheted Afghan. We prefer that solid fabric instead of one that has little holes in it, like, you know, knit and crochet does. And that's fine. It doesn't mean that we can't enjoy them. We just say we prefer them. As far as hats and things like that go, that's another personal preference. And it's just, you know, lucky you if you have a family that appreciates that sort of thing, because we have to remember that gifts are to be given with the recipient in mind. It's not what we want to give them, it's what will make them happy. And some people are really good at that. For example, if you know about the 5 love languages, giving gifts and receiving gifts is one of them. You feel loved when you give a gift or when you receive a gift. It's not my love language. So I struggle with gift giving. Let me tell you, it's so difficult for me to do because I don't value it, I guess, the same way that somebody else does. So my husband's love language is service. So he prefers acts of service and kindness and doing things for you. He wants to do things for me. He runs the errands, fills my car up with gas and says, I filled your car up with gas. And it's like, well, thanks, because to me that's an errand. But I had to figure out that that errand was actually a kind gesture, and that was his way of showing love. So if your gift is, if your love language is gifts, then you probably are really good at it. That's good for you. But anyway, what about if, for example, your family is not one who wants to receive knitted or crocheted items as, you know, a very serious gift? What if you gave them something that made them laugh? And I did that just for fun the other day for my son-in-law. How about a funny stocking stuffer for a basketball fan? I did this in just a few hours as a joke for my son-in-law, the biggest basketball fan. Oh, it looks so good on you. Thanks. And I followed these instructions, but I preferred my own way of doing the ear warmer. I'll link this below. And he got a kick out of it, but he hates being on camera, so getting him to model it was a little bit of a challenge, but he's a good sport and played along. So in that same vein, I ran across some other entertaining, fun gifts that could be great stocking stuffers, whether you are a knitter or a crocheter. Most of us know about Ravelry when it comes to searching for patterns, and you know, it's pretty simple. You can look for knit and crochet patterns, or you can look for just crochet or just knitting. You can look for designer names, book, anything. But the advanced search is what's really cool, because you can use these awesome filters down here. Crochet is first, so we'll put that right there. And you know, yes, you could search in your library and different things like that. You can click free if you don't want to pay for anything. You can, you know, you just look through here and what is it that you're looking for? What size do you need it to be? What yarn do you have? I mean, you could go on and on and on, and it will filter your options over here for you. That's great. However, there are other places to find great patterns. Some will be in Ravelry and some will not. And I ran across this the other day. In the Loop Knitting has been around for a while, but this post right here made me think, so often we see funny hat patterns in crochet, but not necessarily in knit. That's not like the first thing that comes up. But here are some great patterns right here. Some are free I think these were free over here too. And then they tell you that there are some for purchase that are absolutely adorable. So I'm going to link this down below if anybody's interested in this for Christmas gifts. I was particularly drawn to this one. I think that is so awesome. Now this is a paid for pattern. And I don't know if I have the skills to do this color work, but I think it's an awesome hat. But some of these may float your boat when it comes to gift giving. If you have a certain joke about a brainiac in your family, or anything like that. If you are new to knitting, I'm going to suggest this also from In the Loop Knitting because they're cowls. Now, why are cowls better than hats when you're starting out? And that's because you don't have to worry about the decreases. It's just a big cylinder essentially. Now, some of these might be a little bit more difficult for the beginner, like color work or anything like that. I love this one. I've actually printed this out. Cheating at Checkers, it's called. But you can get inspired to find some that you might be able to try if you are new to knitting. And even if you're not new to knitting, these are some awesome patterns. Again, I'm going to link that below. Then I stumbled across this for crochet. It's from something called DIY Magazine, Crafts, Home and Garden. Never heard of it, but here you go. And it was some crochet patterns. This one is either a hat, regular hat, or a messy bun hat. You could do that. Of course, I have a video somewhere about how you can turn any hat, any crocheted hat, into a messy bun if you happen to like that pattern. I'll link that below. But these are some nice patterns here, a little bit more elevated. Oftentimes crochet has been criticized for not being intricate or anything like this, but these are some awesome ones. I love the use of yarn here where it's the fade color, and you can see each one looks a little different depending upon where the fade ended up. So that's really neat. I bought this pattern. I'm in the middle of, I just started it actually. It starts from top down. And basically what you do is crochet it and then you sew the beads on. At first I thought it was one that you crocheted the beads into, but it's not, which actually is better if you're absent-minded like me and you don't pay attention, because it's easier to fix mistakes that do not have beads on the yarn. So anyway, I'll let you know how that one turns out when I finally finish it. But there you go. So that's all I have to talk about today. Thanks for hanging out with me, and don't work too hard during the holiday season. Try to enjoy it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.